Hello, everybody. We are back and ready to get into our first match of the night, University of Toronto versus Purdue University. We got our teams all drafted up. We got our lobby ready and raring to go. Soren, are you ready?
I am, and it looks like the game is too. So we'll go into that. One thing that I was noticing during the break is that University of Toronto's comp is really strong in lane, I think. Probably their weakest laner is like Wraith or Billy, and neither of those is bad at all. So I want to see an early lead here for UofT.
Yeah, I particularly have my eyes out, so running the Victor into the Moe and Crow page, very neutral lane. There's not really going to be too much action in there. The mid lane, though, really does have a lot of potential to pop off. I mean, the Paradox are very oppressive in the lane, and in turn, the Infernus and the Haze are able to sort of match that up and push back against them.
Well, keep in mind that with the way that custom matches work in Deadlock, you have to manually swap the lanes, so the bar at the top isn't going to be accurate to what we actually see in the game.
Okay, I see.
But we are seeing at least the Paradox in the mid lane, so that's going to be pretty strong for UofT. Also, looks like we got the Pocket in mid for Purdue with the Moe. So honestly, a little bit of a weaker lane there for Purdue. Normally, you want to put a lot of your stronger heroes in that mid lane, so that if you win it, you can start to roam around a little more and take more of the enemy's farm. But Purdue have a bit more pokey of a comp.
Yeah, and especially when I'm looking at the yellow lane for UofT, the left lane, you know, there is going to be a lot of back and forth there. I feel like it's going to be very neutral. Meanwhile, if we look at green on the right, you have the Viscous Ray pushing all the way up to the tower. And you are seeing a heavy engage from this Billy onto the Moe and Crow drop down to low HP. It's going to be a first blood already at a minute 40.
That's exactly what I mean. Like, the Moe and Crow goes in for a single Scorn and immediately jumped on by the Billy and the Paradox, and it's just too much damage for even a Moe to handle. Doesn't have the Burrow unlocked yet, so can't get away with that. And that's just early first blood, and they're already getting tower damage.
Yep, and you know, when it comes to snowballing lanes, you really don't want to give an inch or a mile to a Billy, because that's what it's going to turn into. And a deep invade from the Haze page here is going to get away relatively unscathed after killing the jungle.
Yep, and that's what you really expect to see from the page. There wasn't a camp there yet to farm, but they were just taking the boxes, which spawned only at the end of last wave. But the page allows your coordinated laner to play a lot more aggressively and take those trades and really get away scot-free just using a cooldown instead of your health bar.
Yeah, very well pointed out. Now, both of these teams, right, we're starting to see a lead up here for UofT. It's a small lead, but it's still a lead nonetheless. You know, is this sort of the position where we expect to be?
I would say a little bit. I think, as I said, that UofT have a stronger comp in lane, especially in that mid lane, which I'm expecting them to win quite handily. But as you said, it's pretty early, and I think most of that lead was from Purdue University not yet catching their wave. So University of Toronto have prio in a lot of these lanes, so they're killing the minions first, which means they had their souls first, and we just caught them in a bit of a window where Purdue hadn't gotten those souls yet. So you see, they've mostly caught up now.
Yeah, and then along with that wave priority just comes a lot of room for them to open up and really just take advantage of all those boxes, all the neutrals that spawn up around the map. It's because they're going to push very aggressively. We do have the bus spawning in 1 minute and 20 seconds. That's the next point in the match to really watch out for, the next spawn in the conflict. A lot of good damage there onto the Abrams, dropping very low already.
Yeah, and that's why Mina is just so strong right now. You get one Love Bites proc and maybe a Wraith there with the Umbrella, and you see that these two are already hurting so badly here.
Yeah.
The Mina and the Victor just have infinite space right now to do whatever they like. They can stay here and poke and get a kill there. Onto the Abrams, they can do whatever they want, especially now. Tower damage, boxes, anything's free.
Yeah, it was a solid attempt from the Abrams, watching both of your enemy laners throw away their parries, mistiming them, and then getting blown up immediately afterwards. And the ability with the chain gang, unfortunately, does get broken, is not quite able to pull in what he was looking for.
Pocket.
Yep.
Yeah, the Pocket had the briefcase there, and so was able to just kind of get a free dodge from that one. Pretty good to be able to do against a Billy who wants to drag you into his tower. We did also see Mo suffer a second death there, so he's not yet up to combo. His Pocket is also missing Affliction, so a pretty good opportunity here for those mid laners from University of Toronto to try and get aggressive.
Yep, getting very aggressive here under the tower, getting a lot of damage. And you know, Airstriker Alex is really just forced to play safe and absorb that pressure while he waits for his teammates to come back into the lane. The Moen Krill again is getting heavy damage pumped out onto them. It's now 5 minutes, and the Victor's already grabbed the buff from the left lane. It's actually going to be Purdue who claims the right vitality.
Yeah, there's not enough prio there for the Billy or the Paradox to go for it. They're busy fending off their wave, and I didn't see quite what happened on the right side, but Purdue do have the better lane there to be able to get to that bridge, so just seeing the Mina ult though.
Yep, the Infernus absorbing a lot of pressure, going in deep with the combustions, not quite able to reach them as the Mina up in the sky is able to use the rig to finish them off. It is a bit of an unfortunate lead, as well as the Billy finding a pick in the mid lane against the Pocket.
Yep, and this is just the dangers of the University of Toronto's heroes here in lane. Mina off to a great start, Billy off to a good start. Like, really the only one that's still in contest here is that right side one. Neither side really getting an advantage there. And as soon as UofT take down the towers, they'll be able to help out, but that's going to be delayed now by a pick.
Nice kill by the Pocket, and it looks like it could potentially snowball into another. Not quite, as the Billy still has his dash to get out. That's very important to starting to bring this lane back into 2v2.
Any kill helps, right? And the later the better. With those early kills, only give so many souls, but then now we're starting to get up to 6-7 minutes, and the respawn timers will start to get longer. Not too long yet, but kills will mean more and more as the game goes on.
Yep, timers are longer, neutrals are spawning, you have your boxes, your camps, everything that you can go in and snatch up and even start to steal. As both these teams, they're really, you know, they're in it for the long haul. The small victories do count, but over the series of the game, it's relatively.
We talked about UofT's comp really scaling into the late game with the Victor, the Mina, and the Wraith. That means that probably they're not going to finish out the game early. If they get off to enough of a lead, then perhaps, but I really expect them to want this game to go longer.
Oh.
Don't worry, just alpha build things.
Yep. Everyone's just phasing through the fabric of reality like it's no problem. You know, just finds himself back up in the lane, ready to go, do more punch things as Abrams do. You know, the Mina does fly up into the sky, uses Nox Nostra. Abrams extremely low, is able to get executed. And the Love Bite plus the Rake is just able to finish off the Infernus like that. And a First Blood Guardian as well. UofT are running off the bank.
Yeah, I mean, this Mina has just been incredible here in lane, and the Victor following it up with the Pain Battery procs and just the inability to die here from Styler. So that's a very early one that lets them roam here, take these jungle camps on the opposite side of the map. I expect the Mina to be the one to do these early rotations. She's got a little bit more maneuverability, but if we do see someone rotate to help out the right side lane, maybe this mid here, they need it. I expect it to be that Mina.
Yeah, a lot of aggression coming out of the mid lane. It's not really able to end the lane for either team. You see the Infernus here just chasing down this this Victor just trying to get as much damage as possible. But now we're going to be seeing some of those early rotates that we talked about. That the Infernus is in farming his neutrals, getting as much in as possible. And we see on the right-hand side of the map, we have a Wraith going in deep, trying to contest that center sacrifice.
Yeah, that 8-minute mark is where a lot of the action really starts to pick up, because those center sacrifices are the best source of souls per minute on the map, as well as getting some minor buffs. So infiltrating your enemy teams, taking yours, is a large part of like the macro of the early game, essentially. Hit here on the Johnny.
A really nice sleep from the Haze is going to catch out the Goo Ball. He's now forced to retreat as he has, I believe, extra damage reduction as well as just doing stun on every hit when he runs you over. Source the cube there at the end as well. A solid little trade from both of these sides.
Another pick here in the mid lane. Looks like the pocket went a little too deep looking for this pick on the Paradox.
Yep.
Looking kind of weak as well. I expect this mid lane to be won pretty soon, but Abrams is starting to come over.
Yep, nice carbine shot there, and it looks like Abrams is in for the support. Airstriker Alex gets caught out of position. That's one heavy melee. Can we get two? Doesn't seem so, as the Time Wall really just stops a lot of the damage coming through. You can save his life. Maybe for now.
I won't be.
There you go, pocket gets shot.
Yeah, finishes off the Billy, and Paradox is still just here trying to stall for as long as she can. Since Abrams, I think, could have used that ult earlier and gotten the picks, but they will get them eventually, and that would be this tower going the way of Purdue University. Not quite the way we expected to see it, but going for a 3v2 in this early game means a slight deficit in terms of the soul economy. So a slight trade-off there for Purdue.
Yeah, nice sleep onto the Wraith, just denying her from being able to get that buff, and Abrams snatches it up. He loves pretty much any bridge buff in the game. All provide him with really a lot of stats that he prefers. And well, like you mentioned, right, overloading a lane, sending 3 against 2 is something that you can do, especially when the lane ends early, and the Abrams was able to execute it very well. You usually don't see that happening too much in a losing lane. Typically, you would send a third person into a winning lane, and you would try and capture that tower early.
It really depends on the meta about what state of lane you want to go into. We've seen a lot of the top teams in NA have a lot of benefit from just shoring up their weakest lane and making sure that their opponents have no way back into the game. But I think that was a perfectly fine time. It was a very well executed gank, but looks like this will be an earned fight here. And Purdue has brought a lot of people here. This is probably in all the other lanes for University of Toronto.
Yep, UofT are really taking the opportunity to just shove in as much as possible. Maybe you can call this earned bait. And the Wraith does go in, uses the knockdown, not quite able to get anything out of it. And the Moan Curl combos them to death.
Team's just making the best of the situation here. It was good earn bait, but because you have a Guardian there for University of Toronto, there's another objective that Purdue can take while they're just waiting on you to maybe bring in the earn. Looks like it has been dropped here, so that'll be another 3,000 souls headed to them very soon. UofT did grab that mid Guardian though, and it looks like they're pushing for the left side Walker as well. Maybe just some damage. Paco will be there soon.
Yeah, lots of split pushing pressure here, but it does allow Purdue a very good opportunity to get back into the game. They've closed up that soul deficit only all the way down to just 1k. And, you know, here at the closest point, it's really where you're starting to worry about, will the lead start to change hands? You see Moan Curl there just hanging on by a thread at 1 HP, is forced to go back all the way into the base. And UofT are continuing to play aggressive while they're looking for this last card.
Yeah, they just want to get this down and get that flex slot out of the way as early as they can. They got 2 other members of Purdue coming in here soon. Their window's starting to close.
Yep, lots of nice damage coming out from this Pain Batter, able to hit multiple targets. Now the Victor here is being stunned, he's being CC'd, he's got sent into the queue for his own protection, and that's going to be able to get them out of here against the 3-man lane.
Johnny with the perfect timing there to interrupt the CC chain, and that's really what Viscus's best value is at any point in the meta, in any meta, is just using that cube to stop one character from being completely helpless, such as against the Mo combo, where we saw there just the sleep into the captivating read, into the page ult. Just everything was going south, but managed to get out there. So, a good response from them, and now it looks like they'll be bringing 3 of their own to this side if they decide to bring the Deadlock.
Yep, lots of nice poke damage out from the Viscous. Looks like he's going for more of a gun build, with bringing out the Express Shot. Or more of a hybrid, actually, because I also do see the Spirit item in there as well. It does look like Wraith is being forced to retreat, and this is Purdue trying to take their 3rd Guardian as well.
Yeah, both these teams just want that first flex slot. They're getting hungry for it. And you see it here in the temporary 3-on-2 over on this left side from Purdue, and similarly on the other side for University of Toronto. It looks like UofT are going for more of a split playstyle this game. They're choosing not to overstack on any one lane. They're getting punished for it a couple of these times. Like, this tower is pretty sure to go down unless this Mina can find something really huge.
Yeah, losing the Paradox there is very catastrophic. Now you're leading into a 2 versus 3 fight, and especially when the Guardian is, it's 14 minutes, the Guardian is still standing. There's not really too much that you can do to prevent all that damage from and really finishing the deal. Abrams coming around. Yep, Affliction does go wide, and it's going to be a knockdown onto the Abrams. Not quite able to finish the job just yet. Card goes wide. Nevermind catches him with the blast damage. That's an Abrams pocket baiting as much as possible while the Cape does the rest of the work. He's not quite able to make it out, though, as Mina does secure his escape routes and stall for as much time as possible with the suitcase.
It's a great rotation from University of Toronto. They recognize that the tower is about to go down. They save it on just a sliver of HP. Really, anyone from Purdue could come behind and take it at any point, but it does at least stay up for now, right? You have to make them come back later for it. This right side hasn't received a lot of pressure, though. I would have almost expected them to be aggressive on the right side while Purdue were overstacking the left, but instead they just respond and get a couple of kills out of it, so not the worst thing either.
Yeah, it seems like they were really able to leverage the wave clear on Purdue's side and really make sure that those waves are not able to crash against the tower, not able to get that pressure down, and instead they're focusing on getting the neutrals. The Abram charge does go in deep, but Paradox is very out of position, charging at the Carbine is able to stun the Abrams out of the ultimates, but is now getting dove in on by the Lone Curl. Nice parry into a swap, but the combo comes down, and the Paradox's fight was off and up.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're 3v1 and you're getting chased by a Mo and Krill. You're just going to get comboed and killed here, and Purdue will take this tower on the second shove. Toronto not really committing people to keeping that wave shove, just the Paradox, and it was a pretty easy 3v1 for them to take here. Some damage on the mid-walker will help out later. But for now, it'll be Purdue eating things up in the soul count.
Yeah, Mo and Krill looking in deep, hunting for those double sinners. It looks like they're going to be able to secure them as well, further contributing to their soul lead while the urn is being escorted across the map. Victor is not willing to let this go easily, and instead is choosing to fight this on top of the top. It looks like Purdue they're forced into respecting this.
Yeah, but they already got the sinner sacrifices, so if they can get away here, that's still a victory for them. A lot of low health bars. Fractal will go down on the Mina. That's your carry out of this fight. Nostra already used. Abrams getting caught here in the shot. He will go down. The Yart Skull falling, but Purdue did get the urn in the middle of all of that.
Wow, yeah, urn is really big, but in the midst of that as well, UofT decided that, hey, we're going to take this last Guardian now, while you're focusing your attention focused elsewhere. So a lot of money just traded hands here, but we do still see the lead bias. The Paradox getting slept in the worst possible position, gets taken down in the small bag, exchanging hands as well.
It's twice in a row that Dreamline has been caught out just a little too out of position on the enemy side of the map when really there's nothing to take there and no teammates nearby. It's going to be a loss of tempo for them, and Purdue really experienced the benefit of taking that Guardian earlier when, University of Toronto were stuck trying to catch up, while Purdue were pushing their lead with the urn and a couple of picks that they got. So that's how it can really snowball in Deadlock like this. Purdue taking a small lead now, but they're going to have a bit of a job trying to push it much further. This is the stage of the game where you really need your Infernus to come online and start syncing up. Pocket. Catch here.
Oh, Viscous, he's able to save others, but not quite himself. The chain gang does come through and pulls a bunch of people together, but there's no follow-up, and now Billy is left running for his life. And, yep, gets comboed. And you know, the chain kills coming out from Purdue, it's not... I'm not saying that they're not particularly impressive, but it's really achieved by the same pattern of play over and over. They stack multiple people in the same lanes, they use these nice point-and-click abilities, and they're just able to take down their opponents time and time again. And here you have an 18-minute mid-boss coming up for Purdue as well. This is a lot of pressure on Team UofT.
Yeah, they're playing this fantastically here. The Haze is finding a lot of value, especially with the Mo. Paradox comes in and tries to pass him, but can't even get one rejuvenate. That'll be 2 picks for Purdue, plus the 3 rejuve crystals. Victor taking his time to die, but he will eventually go down. I don't think even if this is safe in here. The parry just starting the time, but yeah, that's 3 picks and 3 rejuves for Purdue. That'll be at least 1 walker going for them. It might split for more.
Yeah, it was an interesting call there to go in for the contest. I understand the mentality somewhat, as it's an early mid boss. Let's go and fight it. We will have our respawn timers on our side if it does fail. But still, that is a lot of tricking in, going in slowly, timing one after the other, and then really staggering yourselves out. The ability does re-engage. You're trying to defend the blue walker as best as they can, and now with the you know, aforementioned respawn teammates, they're able to hold on to this walker just a little bit longer.
Yeah, good response here, and the side lanes being pushed up means that Purdue can't commit their full team to this fight. You know, they won a 6-on-6 fight right now with those 3 rejuve crystals. That means 3 extra kills that UofT have to get in a fight, not to mention the buffs that they also get from them. So they won a straight-on team fight, but UofT doesn't allow it there. They get the side lane shoved up, and they have to respect that lest they lose walkers.
Let's go blue.
Yep, now targets to eye up. I'm looking forward to seeing how this Mina is going to be able to perform. You know, once these regions start to wear off and the teams are able to fight again. Paradox does get caught out again. He is forced into a swap. Is going to be running down into the mid pit. They are able to almost successfully escort her out of the fray. Now the eyes are all on Billy.
It seems like right now, Purdue are almost just playing to catch out this Paradox. They know that that's the go button for UofT. That's the person who they want at the tip of the spear, just trying to find those picks. And they're playing for it. The Mo and Krill is right there with the combo every time, and another character with some damage and maybe some CC of their own is also there. And it's just snowballing into these picks and into even objectives now we're starting to see. That's 1 walker down. And the Styler going down as well as one of your biggest scalers at this point in the game out of the fight. Now it looks like UofT are playing for this Wraith, it seems.
The more time dead, you're not able to farm, you're starting to gradually fall behind, and you're bleeding on all sources, especially with, you know, the way that some of these camps are up. You're not really able to allocate them exactly to the people that you want to. So now, again, the ball is introduced, but they have about another minute or 2 of this left, and the Wraith gets caught out, hit by a Sleep Dart into a Silence Wave. There's almost nothing that you can do in retaliation there.
No, this Haze is really playing well here. I criticized it in the draft, but if you've got a Haze like this who's just constantly using the Silence Wave and the Invis to find picks in these isolated scenarios, it's definitely getting value here.
Party time!
Yep, UofT here staging in to contest the double Sinner's take. So they're waiting around just to, you know, see if there are any reinforcements. So they decide no, they don't want to take this fight, and they are forced to concede it.
Still 3 rejuve crystals for Purdue. They haven't been forced to use any of them. Should wear out soon enough, but while they've gotten it, they've built up a 25,000 soul lead, which is pretty sizable for this point in the game. It looks like they might take a second walk for it.
Yep, there are also quite a couple bags on the field looking to see if UofT can maybe try and secure them. Maybe a walker dive. Stomp to be found. Big affliction going down in the middle of the team fight. Stunned through the parry. It's going to get out one of the rejuves. And it is again dropping down low HP. The shock animation is forced out from the Victor, and the pocket does fall.
No more rejuves for Purdue, and Pocket had already died with 1, so not able to get the benefits from them. Is a small window of time here where UofT can respond. They kept the walker. 1 walker on the right side, but they get the Krill. Just need to bring in someone else to deal with this Infernus. So again, an opportunity here. What do they do with it? Do they try and push a walker here? Do they take some farm? But no matter what you try here, it's rough coming back into a game this far down.
It seems like the team is deciding to focus on rotating over to the green lane, try and push that out and chase the kills as much as possible. We see the Spirit Urn being run around the map by the Mina. It is going to be a nice source of comeback souls for them. But as for looking further, right, they've abandoned their ambitions of trying to pressure a walker. They are not pressuring really many of the neutral camps that are still up. You know, what do you think is next for UofT here?
I think really this is the main game plan, is just take these urns. They're going to be on your side because you're down by so much, and you've got another one spawning in just over a minute. So these fights are kind of your only time to try and get an advantage, right? You're on your side of the map. You're between two walkers. So that's about the main comeback mechanic in Deadlock at the moment, is just taking as much farm as you can and securing the urn every time it comes up. They have closed it now to a 13,000 lead, which isn't too bad. But they've got to deal with this Infernus. He's at 33,000, and there's not really anyone on UofT that can respond to that effectively.
I'll slip through them.
Yep, now it does seem like Viscous is finding himself in a bit of a precarious situation. That he's as well going in deep. Gonna find the Billy. Shoulder charge doesn't quite connect, but doesn't matter. Airstriker Alex is taken out of the fight. And, you know, getting another pick like that for Purdue, they're just able to continue on with so much pressure.
They need to start buying counter items for this Haze. She's just getting away with too much. Warpstone is effective to be able to get out even while silenced wave. I'm a little surprised that Haze hasn't picked up that herself. She can also use it during her ult, but I mean, return fire, metal skin, even just like bullet resistance is effective against this Hazel, but you got to try something, right? This is how Purdue have been opening up every single fight, every single objective is just with this Haze getting random pickoffs in the jungle.
Yep, adaptation is the name of the game, and it seems like, you know, Purdue are very damage heavy into bullet, so some of those counter items, like you mentioned, are going to be very effective against them. I did also see that the Haze is building proactively. I saw Rusted Barrel getting picked up as well, and you know, Purdue are very ready to take on these threats in a way that I haven't quite seen yet from UofT. The Sleep Dart does get blocked out, and Silence Wave still connects. Connect Carbine is primed, not quite able to connect with anybody yet. The combo comes down as well. Paradox getting taken down to 1 HP, getting taken out shortly after. Wraith down to 1. Is trying to escape best they can. Drops the big 1200 bag. And the Billy there is trying to escape the Russian cashes him out. That's another casualty.
Trying to trade this back. They found the Mo, but there's just not enough left in this for UofT. Victor's making a very good play to get out alive, but yeah, Nina's not able to do enough in this fight with the Nox Nostra down. The mid-walker driven out here for UofT. They may take this right side though.
Alright, they're able to get a cheeky little trade. The Mina getting the walker out in the yellow lane. But again, this is, you know, they're still in a peculiar situation because the mid-boss is going down. The Viscous is moving in to try and contest it, but without a good ball, it might be a little difficult.
Punches are going to help, but I don't think it's going to be enough here with the amount of sustainability from Purdue.
The Ultimate not going away with the punch and not quite able to get anything. 3 reaches secured for Purdue, and now the Victor is just sacrificing himself. There's not really a feasible way out of this.
No. Again, it's a contest when you're down by 3 people, which, as you said, the mentality is just if they get this, we lose so much. Mid-boss is so important these days, but I mean, you lose 2 for absolutely nothing there. You don't even get 1 Rejuve Crystal. It seems like Purdue just have this mid-boss game on lock. They've got a lot of CC in their comp, even just with like the Haze Dagger and the Page Captivating Read, that University of Toronto aren't even able to get in there effectively.
Mm-hmm. Oh. All right. It seems like we have a little bit of a disruption in the broadcast. We'll be working to get the feedback up to you guys as soon as possible. right, and we're back. Sorry for that disruption, everybody. But we're jumping back in. The Purdue University, they've been able to take the yellow walker. They're going to be pushing him deep towards the base, eyeing up the base guardians. It's going to be a goo ball there to going in to disrupt the team, and a quick pause.
Not a whole lot seems to have happened while we were there on break.
Yep.
An alt tab from one of the players. All right. But here, this is a favorable fight for UofT. They're 4-on-6. Pocket and Hayes a little slow to reach it. Started off with a chain gang, so it's trying to make something happen, but Purdue have too much damage at this stage of the game. Everyone from UofT goes down as soon as they come up. Even as Victor is not able to do a whole lot.
And this should be GG's here for Purdue. What was really the tipping point that you feel in this match, where it went from the, UofT excelling in the early game to, here when we're watching their patron getting knocked down?
It just was that mid game. Like this Hayes and the Mo syncing together to find all these picks was just way too much. We saw Paradox get picked several times in a row, and then the Wraith was also caught out. It was just time after time, the Hayes roaming around, finding the silence wave into the ult, and UofT were just not able to respond effectively. They either weren't calling out when it was happening, and so weren't responding in time, or just everybody was too spread apart. Like they kind of disrespected the Hayes pick, and it definitely came back to bite them.
Yeah, the Hayes definitely. Well, I would consider, at least personally, the MVP of this match. Seeing just the amount of raw damage that they're able to do, in terms of just the pick potential, never really being able to find yourself being comfortable. She was doing a lot. She got a lot of really damage out against the enemy team. We see here even the Paradox finished with 3-10. So going into the next match, what do you think could be improved, or what do you think the target should be for UofT?
Honestly, it's just a gameplay thing. Like we said that they had the slightly better draft at the end of it, maybe a little bit greedy with the amount of carries that they had. I definitely see the vision for Purdue here of like going for that mid-game sort of pick comp, but without the Paradox, I would have expected that to have not been as good as it was. It kind of just was like not taking the initiative. Every time we saw a fight start, it was Purdue doing it on their terms. Mostly because of the Hayes, but some other fights happened as well that the rest of the team was causing. And every time it was University of Toronto trying to respond after they had one dead or after they had cooldowns forced. Like something was happening, and Purdue was just getting all of the tempo in this game. So UofT need to try and pressure that a little bit more. Maybe play a bit less of the split style and respond and rotate a little faster to some of these ganks. But Purdue with an excellent showing of macro game and like how to force beneficial fights.
Yeah, just like you mentioned, forcing those beneficial fights, and then UofT not quite able to, seek out those equal and equivalent trades. They're not able to really see the other opportunities that are around the map, and so they're really, focused in or tunneled in on how do we directly respond to the problem at hand, instead of say, when the mid boss is going down, let's go and secure our camps and see, can we trade the mid boss for a walker? Can we see that everybody's on this piling this one side of the map, one of our characters got picked, okay, we'll pull back from this walker, we'll focus everyone else's attention on the other one. Instead, it did seem like Purdue were making a lot of these big positive wins across the map, and they weren't really being traded against.
Yeah, well, that is the University of Toronto going down 0-1, but we have a second game that will come up. Again, there's no tiebreaker or anything for this. It is just the 2 games, so Purdue have already secured 3 points for the season, but UofT can secure 3 more for themselves if they can take this game too, which we'll find after the break.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I'm your host, Battlefuls, joined by Soren yet again. Soren, looking into this next match, what are our thoughts? How are you feeling?
I'm a little bit nervous, honestly, after what we saw, but it's game 2, and honestly, it was rather close. Like, University of Toronto took an early lead, and they showed that they are capable of winning the game. They just need to work on that mid game a little bit, and I think they'll be able to really clean things up.
All right. I mean, same thoughts here. Looking forward to how they're going to be able to tighten those gameplay quirks up. Now, UofT are kicking things off with a Victor ban. Looks like it didn't work out for them, so they're deciding, nope, you guys won't have it, and it's going to be yet again a great talent ban from Purdue.
Yeah, very interesting, because this leaves open the Kelvin, and sort of the draft meta in the moment at Deadlock is for the first team to ban Victor or Pocket, and that means that the other team has to ban the Kelvin, because Kelvin is like as strong as Victor and Pocket are. Kelvin is just the raid boss.
Yep.
Like, he is really hard to beat right now, because Dome can isolate so many fights and force a lot of engagements that you thought were good for you to be bad. And Purdue are going to start with the same 2 heroes as they did last time, with the Pocket and the Mo and Krill. So that the only difference is just Victor swapped out for Kelvin, which I think is a good trade for UofT.
Yeah, and then, I do think that bringing the Kelvin is going to bring a lot of what UofT was sort of missing, is a lot of that, like you mentioned with the Dome and that huge, big team fight ability. You drop this down and you're able to either split the team in half or isolate specific targets. It is going to give them a lot of extra fighting power. I'm looking to see here, especially on the Amber 2, Amber 3 picks.
Yes.
Are they going to be going in very directly with those split pushing menaces? Are they going to try to tighten up some of those weak spots? And it does look like they're going to bring Shiv and Infernus. What's your read on that?
I love that. I was just thinking, like, I want to see either Shiv or Infernus, and we got both of them. Like, these two are the best pair ups with Kelvin in lane. Like, Shiv Kelvin has been a duo since basically the start of Deadlock, and Infernus and Kelvin much the same. Like, if you can get both of you in a dome against one person in lane, that person is going to die. And that is increased chances even further if it's Shiv or Infernus in the dome with you. Infernus has Flame Dash, Shiv with the Execute. Like, if Purdue get caught out in lane, and both of those heroes are good at poking as well with the Kelvin, like, you've got good poke, good fight. It's just really hard to win lane against any of those duos with Kelvin. So UofT also have like a bit of tankiness, a bit of support, and a bit of damage in those first 3. Like, that is just really hard to beat here for Purdue, but they will pick up the haze again, not letting University of Toronto ban it out in the second round.
Yeah, cat's out of the bag here, and haze making her way through the first ban phase is rather easy because you have a lot of other high priority targets that you really just want to get rid of. You don't want to face. But now that the Hayes is on the board again, they're going to be able to run it back. There's a lot of question marks coming from the UofT side. Is how are they going to deal with it differently this time?
I don't think that difference comes in the draft very much.
Yeah.
I think you might pick up the Viscous again, because if that person is duoed with the person who gets jumped by the Haze, then that's a pretty easy cube to just deny that completely. Same with the Mow and Krill Grab, which was another tool that Purdue were using to get a lot of these early pickoffs. So you can pick up the Viscous again. I don't hate getting Paradox either again, just as long as your Paradox is a bit safe when she's looking for picks. We could see the Page as well. That's another hero similar to Viscous who can get your hero out of a sticky situation. The weakness here for Purdue picking up Haze and Mow this early, when really a lot of the time they could be saved for later, but picking them up so they couldn't be banned out in the second round, is that you're leaving a lot of these stronger picks available for University of Toronto to pick up. We saw that when they got both Shiv and Infernus because Purdue wanted the Mow, and now University of Toronto are going to get another strong pick because Purdue were forced to prio the Haze.
Yeah, and UofT taking this opportunity as well to just ban out the Abrams. They don't want to deal with that again. And I guess this is also a good spot to drop in that UofT did also make a substitution between these rounds. They're dropping Airstriker Alex for Big Fat B. So their dedicated Abrams player is off the team for this match, so they're deciding to be proactive and ban it right here.
Yep, that's completely understandable. From Purdue here, again, I'd like to see a Calico if they have someone who can pick up that hero, but they are missing their late game skiller that they had last game in the Infernus. So it could be a Wraith or a Mita, as we saw from University of Toronto last game. They didn't ban the Mirage this time. They wanted to ban out the Bebop just as a pick hero that University of Toronto might pick up. So they could try and take the Paradox here and really starve UofT of that pick option. But that might be a little bit heavy on the pick for themselves, to be honest.
Yeah, I do agree. As we're getting really deep onto this reserve time, and the pool of available characters is still quite wide. We do have a Lady Geist pick. Okay.
Sure. I think that's fine. I think Geist is in just like an okay position at the moment. She can do work, but she's not exactly a world beater. She's got a little bit of everything, right? She's got damage, she's got tankiness, and a little bit of support as well. But that's just kind of an all-around pick here for Purdue. I would have preferred to see the Wraith, I think. I think Wraith synergizes with their high mobility pick comp pretty well, as well as being the damage dealer that they need. But they go with Geist instead, who doesn't have that mobility, but does sort of have the damage. You can build her as a carry, even if she's not the most effective one.
Yeah, and turning our eyes again to UofT, they do lock in that Paradox. Like you said, hopefully they do play more safe this time. But again, it's another fantastic pick option for them. And Purdue are really, at least at this stage in the draft, they're not really grabbing anything that gives them a big sense of safety so far.
Not yet, but we did see them pick up the Page kind of late in the draft last time. So we could see it again here. The Viscous is also open if they prefer that over the Page, which I think generally I do. I think they have similar niches, but Viscous is also capable of dealing good damage, whereas Page is a little harder to do so with. Both of them are kind of high skill ceiling in terms of the damage and not as high skill ceiling in terms of the support, but I think Viscous is generally just a little bit stronger on the numbers side right now. But they don't even necessarily have to pick either of those up. Like, it seems like they're going kind of all in on this like pick comp. So we could see a Mirage here as someone else who can show up to these ganks at quick notice. But I did miss that University of Toronto had another pickup before that. They're going to go with the Sinclair.
All right, Sinclair's pretty interesting. I guess, Purdue have really shown their hand. They have the Affliction, they have the combo, they have the Essence swap from Lady Geist. So a lot of very powerful abilities already, and it further, serves to sort of restrict what else Purdue have available to them. It's not really going to be too big of a factor if we see, say, a Victor or a Page come out, but there are some, realities here where it can influence their last pick.
All right. Yeah, Purdue will pick up the Page. One thing about the Sinclair pickup here for UofT is I happen to know, I've watched Styler's gameplay before. His Sinclair is pretty nasty. So we could see that be just a really big factor here, and Styler just
Mhm.
completely pops off. So I think that's mostly the reason here for the pickup, is that that's a comfort hero for Styler rather than Sinclair being particularly good against what Purdue have. It's not
Yeah.
bad. As you said, copying the Geist Swap or the Mo combo or sometimes the Affliction can be very useful. Not so much the Hazel, but
Yeah.
it is a fine pick. And it's also very escapable from someone like the Haze. Not so much the Mo, but can
Mhm.
get out of the Hazel pretty easily.
Yeah. And the ball is back right now in Purdue's court. They have another pick, looking around things out, going with the Wraith last option. Like you mentioned, it brings that last, really big source of damage. You get the she's just the thing that really ties all of this together in the last bit. A Dynamo from UT.
All right.
All
That's
right.
not what I was expecting. Um, Dynamo,
Yep.
generally one of the weakest heroes in the game right now, I'd say. And
Yep.
especially against a pick comp. Like, Dynamo's biggest struggle is that if he gets dived on, he's pretty squishy. He's got the
Yep.
the quantum entanglement that can
Yep.
help get him away a little bit, but that entanglement is not very fast. So it's pretty easy for any members of Purdue to just catch up and burst him down again.
Yep.
And his biggest strength is in these big clumped up team fights, which I don't think Purdue are ever going to take. So
Yeah.
bit of an odd pickup there, but otherwise, I think University of Toronto's draft is really solid. Like that front three and then grabbing Paradox as well. Like, that's about the best starting four that you can hope for in any draft in Deadlock right now.
Yeah. And looking into the future, yeah, the Dynamo, he does start off very rough. Like you said, he has a pretty bad laning phase, and he's also extremely squishy. He's going to be able to get picked off quite easily. But once he's able to sort of build his items, once he gets unstoppable, once he gets that refresher going, there is a lot of opportunity to sort of play with that similar like play style where you're able to shut down some of those key carries that it looks like Purdue aren't really poised to have too many of, right? They have the Wraith, they have the Haze, but aside of that, they're really lacking in a lot of that sustained damage when it comes up against some of these other targets.
Yeah, they don't have the Infernus
Yeah.
that they did last time, who
Hmm.
was like the best person to sync with to get that damage. If one of the other members
Yep.
can get the CC, Infernus has the damage. They don't have that
Yep.
this time. Wraith can definitely do it if they get off to a good start.
Yep.
I almost wonder if this Dynamo is like a utility Dynamo. They don't
Hmm.
really need a ton of healing with the Kelvin, but if Dynamo picks up Slowing Hex or Vortex Web and a couple of other utility actives, they can be a really big thorn in the side without even really using a whole lot of the kit. Like the Stomp can interrupt some of the movement as well.
Hmm.
Um, but my guess is that this Dynamo is just going to play safe and play to support the rest of the team.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Like you said, like there's a lot of stock, a lot of value to be held in a lot of those the defensive itemization this round, especially since it is going to be the sub big fat BE who's going to be piloting this Dynamo. I'm interested in seeing what that sort of new blood can bring into this team and sort of revigorate them as well. And looking at least some of the potential lane matchups, it does seem like there's going to be a lot of room for heavy abuse, and maybe you can shove this Dynamo into a sort of less conspicuous lane where hopefully things don't start to. You are going to be at a disadvantage with a Dynamo, but hopefully one where it does start to spiral out of control.
Yeah, there are 5 strong laning heroes here
Yep.
for University of Toronto, especially with the
Yep.
Kelvin just ensuring that whoever he's with has a good time. Really, it's just the Dynamo. The question is, where do you put him, and how do you make sure that that lane doesn't fall apart while your other two win? Um,
Hmm.
and that is going to be tricky. I think his best matchup is probably someone like the Infernus, who can help keep top and who can clear the wave for him.
Yep.
But these other 5 here are just really strong. Magician, even though he hasn't seen a whole lot of meta play recently, is really obnoxious to lane against with the
Hmm.
Rabbit Hex. And then also you can never punish him because he's got to get out of jail free card. And the bolts are punishing you whenever you're behind cover. Like, people have forgotten how obnoxious Sinclair is, honestly. We're lucky that he's not meta.
Yeah, I ran into one of them in my public matches the other day, and that the rabbit ability, the transfiguration, it lasts for so long,
Yep.
and it can be really devastating. And also another thing to mention is, if UofT aren't going to change their mentality about contesting some of these mid bosses when they're down a couple members, these are some pretty solid characters to do it with.
Absolutely. The
Yep.
Rabbit Hex can do it. And
Hmm.
then if you copy a particularly good ultimate, then you're essentially taking out an area of effect and a single target with one
Yep.
hero. So one of the strongest mid-boss contesters for sure. One hero who I'm a little surprised that we haven't seen either game is the Doorman. He's kind of meta right now and can work pretty well in some of these pick comps or against them, just like isolating one person in the Baroness and making sure that they aren't in the fight for a few seconds to either let your team rotate faster for a pick or rotate faster to save against a pick. So neither side picking that one up, and instead going with the Dynamo and like the sort of Haze Page sort of style.
Yeah. Now it looks like they're going to be pairing up Dynamo with the Paradox in the blue lane. Be facing off against Mo and Curl as well as a Wraith. It's definitely the least bad of the options for them to be going up against. Is going to be facing the least amount of abuse possible. If you could spin a positive outlook on that.
Yeah, I think those are relatively good matchups for Dynamo.
Yeah.
Like, you can use the Singularity to help dodge the Wraith Telekinesis when she gets it, and the Mo combo a little bit as well. It is a little curious that they're choosing to do that in the mid lane. We spoke about the importance of mid lane last game and how big it was for the team that won it. And Dynamo is the least likely person to do that here. One of the most likely is this Infernus, who's already chunked that Pocket down to 1 HP.
Yeah, Pocket having a bit of a rough time, especially with his negative spirit res off the beginning of the game, and struggling very, very much in this lane. And we do also see a little bit of a similar story as well when we look at the Shiv lane, is that they're shoving them in. Like he said before, Shiv Calvin is a classic duo, and especially when you're facing up against that Page Haze. Yes, they have that ability to be super aggressive for a few seconds with the shield, but then while that shield is on cooldown, there's not really too much that you can do. Big First Blood comes out onto the Pocket though.
If you're Pocket here for Purdue, I would be asking for a swap. Like, you have negative spirit resist into one of the heaviest spirit pokers in the game in that Magician. And then the Infernus as well doesn't help things either. Like, you just... Oh, that's nasty.
Wow.
Like, this is what Styler can do on Magician. He's just crazy.
We see the Dynamo being a little cheeky here, trying to stop that Mo and Curl from stealing their boxes. Going to get the disarm out of the way. But the heavy melee spam is going to be able to take him down. And this is a pretty similar story to what we saw last game.
Oh, yeah. That's a great start here for University of Toronto. I'm shocked that he didn't get parried, to be honest, either of those heavy melees. But, hey, it worked out. Can you really call it bad if it works? Well,
exactly.
It's not working out here for the Geist, it seems.
Wow, that's just a lot of damage coming through. The Sinclair sniping them all the way from back from the bridge, and the Infernus coming in close and personal. I think it was the Infernus sprint, actually, that finished off the Lady Geist there. Not really giving her an opportunity to lifesteal off of anybody. That's, a really brutal lane to be coming back to.
Just anecdotally, I know this Styler Magician from the LAN that happened a couple months ago in Toronto, and it was University of Toronto going up against some of the best players in Deadlock, period. It was like Deathy and a couple of other people that he'd assembled for the LAN, and the singular thing that they were afraid of in the entire tournament was Styler's Magician. They banned it out first time every single game until Styler said, hey, let me play it one game, and that was the thing that gave University of Toronto a chance in that game. So if that's what he can do to a bunch of E6s, then he's going to be really deadly here, but his duo will go down. Looks like a good Pocket combo there onto the Infernus.
Yeah, very well done there, and really gives themselves again some more breathing room. Those early fights, they don't really. Yes, they're good, but like you said before, they're not good. The longer the game goes on, the more that those deaths begin to matter, and especially in the early game, they don't really do as much. You see here the Pocket as well, tricked out with the monster rounds, just trying to secure these waves, clear them out as fast as possible, and then try and get some poke in the extra time that they do have.
A little surprised he's not saving for Majestic Leap. 400 damage. That's half your health bar gone, and there's the other half. But yeah, Majestic Leap is something that we often see Pockets rush, like, seriously in lane, just to give more barrier. But not this time, it seems. We did see them doing an interesting tactic there where they froze the lane while the Infernus wasn't there. They knew that the Magician couldn't contest, Styler couldn't come up and catch the wave, and so they just let the wave die instead of pushing it into the tower. And that means that they've regained a bit of the soul lead that they lost from their own picks. and it's coming back to, just at a quick glance, almost even here. The guy's behind by 600 against the Sinclair, but the other two are pretty even.
Mm-hmm. And that's definitely a good position to be in. You know, really pulling that lane back together, especially since, you know, with the early deaths, there wasn't a lot of Guardian pressure that was put out as well. I do expect that to change though, moving forward. Is, you know, either like both of these lanes, they're very heavily geared towards getting that Guardian early. And interested to see what sort of skirmishes can also come out as we approach 5 minutes. We're getting these bridge buffs up soon.
Yeah, you see Styler already going for it. And the Paradox here as well. We're getting both buffs this time. This is improvement from the game 1.
Yep.
Might be a slight contest here, but there is so much prio for University of Toronto that it's hard for them to rotate now.
Yeah, the page does fly up onto the bridge, but, you know, narrowly is able to avoid the Kelvin, is able to retreat back to the team. The Moe and Krill gets dropped down to very low HP. The Singularities, the Greed is coming out. The kill onto the Moe and Krill gets secured. Don't need it. And now they're looking for a potential play here with the Black Hole.
Well, probably won't be looking to find it under a tower. You can Black Hole the Guardian and have it not deal damage to you, but it's still a very risky play, especially with Mo starting to come back and he's got the combo.
Yeah.
But yeah, being greedy with the Black Hole is not at all a bad thing early on because it's such a long cooldown. If you miss it or you just get one pick with it, then you're missing it for like 2 or 3 minutes. Or even more. I think it's actually closer to 3.5 or 4. So
wow, yeah, that's
not a bad idea
time
to save it for now when it looked like the Mo was already going to go down.
Yep. Now, aside from that, things are, you know, continuing on as, you know, for your regularly scheduled programming. We see the Pocket coming in for a nice little poke and run away. The Shiv and the Kelvin pressuring a lot more under this tower. Nice leap comes out as well into a root to make sure that the Kelvin doesn't continue to pressure here. And now we see the Moe and Crow gets caught out. There's the Singularity that we're calling out for, and they are able to get the 1 kill with it.
Yep, but that's 230 seconds, nearly 4 minutes, where they don't have it. So they need to pressure this Guardian now, while the Wraith is on pretty low HP, and before the Mo can get back with their speed boost zip, they just have to wait for the wave to get up.
Yeah. Now they're in a situation where, because the Wraith is low HP, she's not really able to contest too hard. The Moe and Krill is, you know, directly running back at them, trying to buy as much space as possible. A big combustion coming out here, getting a kill onto the Pocket. Lady guys shortly to follow.
That's 3 picks for University of Toronto. The Affliction there onto the Infernus is going to slow him down, but Styler will be able to finish off this tower pretty quickly on this Magician. The objectives no longer have Spirit Resist as they once did, so Spexing Bolts do a lot of damage to them as well. I am a little surprised that this right-hand lane isn't more favored for University of Toronto right now. We spoke about the Shiv Kelvin being so strong, but it seems like the Page Haze are doing a pretty good duo as well, keeping up the pressure. Now the Pocket's here as well to try and catch. Shiv is caught there in the middle by the Captivating Reed, and a big combo there from the Pocket. Is the pool go down as well. The Kelvin very low, almost gets caught by the Page ult, but here comes the Frozen Shelter, keeping him nice and healthy as well as keeping that Guardian safe. Standing up against this Pocket in the 1v1, but it will go down, and surely he will very soon. Carry's not going to do enough.
Yeah, buying out as much time as possible. Unfortunately for him, the parries did come out onto the Guardian, and was able to disable it for long enough that they weren't able to get enough damage back out. And the Shiv does get put to sleep very quickly, and the Haze is able to finish securing this Guardian, sending him packing.
So there's a successful gank from Purdue. Like we were talking about the dangers of 3v2, but they've executed pretty well on these, and they've made sure to get either kills or an objective or both off of them pretty much every time.
Yeah.
And the Pocket, having just lost his Guardian on the left side as well, wasn't really giving up a whole lot. I guess it was risking like the Infernus coming to mid to help out there, but that doesn't seem to have happened. And so now it really was just this mid lane left to play for. A good swap onto the Mo to start things off.
Yeah, it's hard to come out, but also the knockdown did as well. So we are ultimately neutral between these two. And the Wraith is, you know, forced back to retreat. Gets the call to sacrifice. Is just able to quickly complete that tier 3 camp in no time at all. And I see that Purdue, they have a lot of members very close in vicinity to the blue lanes. They're really able to call on that pressure if they so need it. You see the lady guys, they're in the secret shop, is going to be able to make their way over, as well as the Sinclair as well meddling around.
Pocket was forced back to wave, so it's no longer 4-on-2 if Purdue won it. And yes, Sinclair is just hovering this, making sure that no real pressure comes in here from Purdue. If it does, he's got the assistant to get over there pretty quickly, and in the meantime, he's just farming up. Looks like he is taking about as much of the farm as the Infernus is, which is kind of surprising, given how much Infernus does like farm in the current meta, but I guess it's just a player diff. I promise I'll stop blazing him at some point.
And a nice pick onto the mowing crow as well under the tower. Gets a nice 500 bag just to go with it, just to swing the deal. Buffs did come back up. One of them was claimed by the Page. The other seems to be by the Sinclair. And, all is good. UofT are continuing to try to push their lead as much as possible. They've secured 2 Guardians now. Looking at a third one potentially for the flex slot. What's the game plan now?
It really is just playing for that right side Guardian, I think. You got to try and keep your other 2 lanes as well, because you've got Guardians there. So all 3 lanes still have 1 Guardian in them, which is kind of a tough spot to play for. There's a lot of maneuverability unlocked on the map at this point.
Yep.
But UofT are going to try and run the Urn. And I think that's pretty favorable, because it means that if you get this, you can try and push for the Guardian. But it also means that Purdue are going to commit a lot of players to defend this.
Yeah, the Urn play is pretty aggressive, especially since they know that guaranteed they have at least a 1-man advantage, seeing the Geist and the Pocket on the map. And also looking at it from a perspective that they do have the Black Hole available to them. They're going to be popping it right on top of the Urn deposit points, securing themselves a kill onto the Page. The relatively low stakes secure.
Yeah, they're going to trade a Guardian for it, but that just being the second one rather than the third means that that's not at all a bad trade. And maybe even got the Sinclair and the Dynamo coming there to try and combo something out. Speaking of combos, 2 of them just came in. Guy still has the swap for this. If she can get close to anyone, there it is.
Utilizing the swap, dropping the Dynamo down to low HP is definitely a good target to use that on. And now we have the Kelvin Dome gets caught out by the rallying charge, but now it's almost looking through the aquarium as both of these teams are just forced to retreat from each other.
And just a little bit of healing there. Magician will go down as well as the Guardian in that mid lane. Not a whole lot to do when you're 2v1 at half HP. So it is just the left side versus the right side Guardians at this point. Both teams with 1 to play for, but UofT with a pretty strong 7,000 lead here as the brawl breaks out in the secret shop.
Yeah, I really have a sense that I've been here before. Big shield comes through to deny the execute from the show. Good patience from them, good discipline to not really pop it immediately when he saw low health targets. It looks like the Page here is getting caught out instead, gets executed. Nice catch. And, now that the scores are yet again evened up, it looks like these teams are starting to at least try to return to normal. Geist gets caught out by the Dynamo Slam. It's dropped down to very low HP. It's interesting how they're trying to make their escape.
Yeah, I'm just not able to really follow up on that a whole lot because there were still Purdue members hanging around. But positive trades across the board, I would say. It was 1-for-1 in terms of kills, but UofT dropped enough members of Purdue low that now they're getting some pressure on these waves. They're going to get this Guardian for free, which means that they have still 1 remaining and they can try and pressure walkers if Purdue ever do start to stack heavy on that left side lane. Or they can rotate themselves. We said last game how the rotation game was a little bit weak for University of Toronto, but this time they don't even necessarily have to do that. We see a lot of the top teams go for a walker push when their last Guardian is getting shoved heavy, but either option is effective.
Yeah, now we see that sort of heavy grouping play style from UofT. They're going to sort of give Purdue a taste of their own medicine, really making sure that they're buddied up and available to really retaliate with that pressure where needed. I think a lot of eyes are to be, focused on this Infernus, farming it, becoming a real big strong man in this match. Although he hasn't really had too much of an opportunity to display that just yet. Nice, he's sleep. I think I'll be able to capitalize on.
Yeah, it doesn't have the ultimate to be able to follow up, but the Silence Wave will prevent Magician from getting out unless he places down an assistant beforehand. You can still teleport while you're silenced, but you can't place down the assistant itself. Mo looking for the combo to follow up. There's too many members of UofT here for them to do that. Excellent rotation.
Yeah, it was a nice attempt with the Veil Walker there, coming up real nice and close to the Sinclair, but unfortunately was spotted. The Magician was used to get out just in the nick of time. So UofT, they're really holding their ground on this lane. They're not really conceding too much pressure here. The Mo and Krill is getting sent back. He's able to escape just barely.
Yeah, and now we sort of reach this point in matches sometimes where all the Guardians are down, or maybe about to be down. Looks like Purdue are pushing the last one here. Ice goes very low, has the swap, but not able to get close enough, and the Afterburn will finish her off. This Click doing an excellent job here in the 2v1. He's afflicted now, though, so has to play very safe. Someone needs to rotate for this if you're UofT. Dynamo's trying to, but he's not going to be able to hold a Guardian 1v2.
Oh, wow, yeah, the Affliction is dropping down to 1 HP to the range that, so that Pocket from that range with his shotgun was able to finish him off. Was pretty close. And again, they are going to continue trying to get that Guardian. Is going to fall, but we see UofT on the opposite side of the map. They're pressuring this Walker. They're getting damage in. They do not have a Dynamo, though, there. The Dynamo instead decided to come and defend the already lost Guardian.
Yeah, it's University of Toronto are attacking the more difficult objective to assail. At 15 minutes, those walkers still have a decent amount of resistances on them, and they give your team buffs as well as just having more damage. So, more difficult target for UT means that they have to back off. They're getting caught here. Maybe the telekinesis comes up and catches Fractal. It's the Haze ult committed as well. So a couple of key ultimates down for Purdue right now, but 2 heroes down for UofT while Purdue grabbed the urn.
Yeah, it was a good attempt. Unfortunately for them, lacking some of their stronger team fighting characters there, the Infernus and the Dynamo, really didn't spell too well for them. It is a combo coming up. Mo and Krill gets countered by the zone combo, and a rally charge does come through as well. Infernus's combustion does end up with the kill onto Mo and Krill. Big damage comes out from the redirected bolts, and both of these teams are going to disengage for now.
Big damage onto that right side Walker for Purdue as well. That Walker's down to about 1/4 HP. But both teams are playing pretty careful at this point because they know that if they lose 3 or more members that the other team can grab mid-boss. We saw Purdue do it at about this time. Because this is about the time when those deaths respawn timers start to become that impactful. Urn now grabbed for University of Toronto.
Yep, the Haze now getting spotted out, forced to retreat after spending their Steep Dart. They have a lot of money in the bank. They're just going to go back to the base quickly to spend it. Meanwhile, UofT's turn, or it's UofT's turn to try and escort this neutral urn this time. Page gets caught out, get taken out, and the Dynamo's there to secure that bag. And the Mo and Krill again stuck between a rock and a hard place, using the burrow to get out. UofT are looking pretty uncontested now with this deposit.
Look at this Dynamo build. If we switch back to that, like, I have not seen that build before. It's a combination of like gun items with the weakening headshot and the headhunter and the hunter's sword, but then also the rapid recharge and arcane surge for the stomps. This is a very interesting build here from Big Fat B, and it seems to be working so far. We've seen a more aggressive Dynamo play from them than I expected, and they're getting kills. About 20,000.
Yeah, Gun Dynamo is definitely a new one for the books. I remember seeing them early on in the game. I was like, yeah, I have an Enchanter's Emblem, I have a Battle Vest, I have an Arcane Surge, all very standard Dynamo items. And then, like you mentioned, like we come back to him and he suddenly has all these bullet items. What happened here?
And the double resistances means he is kind of tanky. And then the Hunter's Aura as well, just if they can isolate someone, then makes it pretty easy to go down. I was thinking that they've got the Dynamo Kelvin over there on that left side. Normally you'd expect to see Kelvin paired up with the damage dealer, and I guess if Dynamo's your damage dealer, then that works fine.
Yeah, it does seem like Kelvin's heeding your words perhaps, and going back to the base, presumably to swap into a different lane, to try and spread that pressure out elsewhere on the map. You see all the walkers are relatively the same HP on Purdue's half the map. Meanwhile, UofT is only their right side walker is really taking much damage. Doesn't really mean too much in the long term, but they do have to be a little bit more careful on that particular side of the map.
That's why you see the lane shoved up so far for them. They've had someone there for the last couple of minutes, just making sure that that walker doesn't get pushed. And now they're looking for picks here. It's Paradox, the Bale Walker, trying to make something happen, but there's nobody from Purdue on this wave. Got a couple members here. Fight could break out here soon. Looks like both teams are just happy to go back and go to other lanes.
Yep. Both of these teams are really content to, sit back, collect their resources, and farm up and try and hit more of their power spikes, especially since, all or almost all 12
dangerous.
ultimates are available. So whatever fight ends up happening is going to be really, really down to the wire. Bill Walker has come out for the moment. Curl going to do a big dash into combo. Affliction hits the Furnace as well. There's not really too much sense into, or too much left to invest. Nice combustion knocks down the pocket in the Moen Krill, but he is able to secure that kill, just the last hit. We do see here the Sinclair is able to, come in and clean things up, finish them off with a nice bow and tie.
Yep, 1-for-1 trade. So again, we're seeing UofT adapt. Right?
Yep.
They're not getting caught out by the haze this time. They're making fast rotations anytime they're getting pressured. And they've got a couple of heroes who are able to do that. They've got the Kelvin paths. They've got the Paradox to lock up this Geist, and nobody's overextending. This is excellent adaptation from them.
Yep, Dynamo here tanks the swap from the Geist, and Geist is not really quite able to get more damage out. She did have the Soul Siphon on cooldown, so the life she had was all she had left. Now with that kill secured as well, eyes are turning to potentially look at this mid boss, as we do have 4 members of UofT stacked here on blue.
I don't think they can go mid boss here.
Yeah.
A lot of ultimates are down for Purdue, but it's just a little too aggressive when you've only got one pick. So I think they're looking to just shove these waves and take as much farm as they can. Maybe grab this urn. It shouldn't be disfavorable for them yet. So if they can grab it here, they can at least secure it for this period of 5 minutes and make sure it doesn't go bad for them.
Yeah, it seems like exactly what they're going to do. Only time will tell if it's the touch and go. It does seem like that is going to be the case. Actually, no, the Shiv decided, no, I'm going to pick up this urn and I'm going to go and escort it over to the other lane. And Furnace, again, it almost feels timeless, getting caught out, the knockdown into the combo, and the Geist here as well. The Paradox does put up a wall to try and dampen some of that damage. The combustion is able to buy him a lot of space, and I think that Purdue really learned from last time that they really got to respect the combustion, the amount of damage that an Furnace can do in such a short amount of time.
Geist nearly goes down from that with the afterburn there, and now UofT have come over here. As soon as they can get their Infernus healed up, they're probably going to go for this urn, especially because Mo is now low as well, trying to run away. Pocket comes in with the big combos. Paradox knocked down pretty low. Might be able to escape here, though. There's so many members of University of Toronto here that they should take this fight. Page is not here in the mid lane.
Yep, there is a lot going on in UofT, or left holding the urn. They are going to get a deposit off, though. Not quite sure what the... Yep, so half of the orbs are going to be denied, and Reflection does go in deep in on this fight. We see the Moen Krill diving in as well with the disarm. It's not quite able to secure a kill, as we do see the grip coming out from Kelvin.
Yep, just keeping everybody safe here. The pick heroes from Purdue not finding quite as much here, and the Infernus from Misclicked is going pretty hard. He's at 33,000. He's a real danger in these fights, especially if you can find a good black hole. Doesn't quite find it there. Members of Purdue too spread out, but he doesn't even need it with this build, right? He's just doing so much damage.
Yeah, his damage dynamo. Nobody expects it. Look at all that gun damage go. There you go. The Paradox is securing the kill. They did drop a Shiv in the meantime, however, Hayes is able to get a walker and run away with it. I think that UofT are overall happy with the way that this trade is going so far, and they're going to be starting at the mid boss.
Yeah, if you get mid boss here, then you're totally fine losing a walker for all of that. It was a prolonged exchange, and your Shiv is down 6,000 in that fight, so Hayes is just able to clean him up as one of the more farmed heroes of Purdue. Now it looks like they're trying to get a couple of catches here before going to the mid boss. If they can get this Haze, it's pretty big. That's the biggest member of Purdue down, and you've got 3 rejuves.
Yep, Hayes wandered a little bit too close to the sun, and she did get burned for it. Now, UofT are out loose on the map. They have the 3 rejuves, like you mentioned, and they just spent a whole lot of gold in order to, strengthen themselves. So I saw some pretty big buys coming out. Like not too long ago, we saw Kelvin has acquired a curse. The curse can be very powerful at shutting down some of those key targets. We have Infernus there that just bought a Spellbreaker. We'll be able to buy them a lot more time in these team fights. A lot of huge spirit power abilities that are going to be negated quite significantly by that. Now we're just waiting for UofT to really decide where their next target is going to lie. Wraith drops incredibly low just from that long distance poke. Wow.
That's the power of both Fed and Furnace, is that even if you just take a short trade, if he procs the afterburn on you, congratulations, half your health is gone and there's nothing you can do about it. Yep. He's picking up the Spellbreaker in addition to helping against the Spirit. Does also give 25% debuff resist, so that'll help when a lot of Purdue's comp is focused on shutting him down with CC. And like the Pocket Affliction, the Wraith Telekinesis, even though they can't be purged by debuff remover, debuff resist still helps with the duration of it. So Infernus is going to be a lot harder to lock down with that debuff resist. Toronto are trying to force a fight here.
Yep, they know that a lot of members in close proximity are not quite able to lock in on them. Ein, unfortunately, is the victim. Mo and Krill is no longer in play, and that's a lot less to fear for them so far. The life swap does also come out from the Geist. Let's be able to preserve her for a little bit longer, but now UofT are very aggressively trying to take this walker. Big black hole comes out onto 3. Is that 4? And the walker as well, preventing those stomps. It's going to be almost a clean ace in its entirety.
I don't even need the wave.
Yeah.
It's further back. Walker has resistances. They don't care. They got 5 people there. They're going to just take it no matter what. So I was trying to force something on the right side against this pocket, but I mean, the rest of University of Toronto is just fine taking the base.
Yep. You know exactly where that pocket is. You're keeping them occupied and you're walking in, getting those shrines. You are in a very happy position if you are UofT. Is going to be able to do damage to him. Almost gets the escape through with his 2, but unfortunately does get stopped. And now UofT are going to be staying there just a little bit longer to be able to secure the patron down. Right? And we can also see there that they're also being proactive on the map. We have the Sinclair escorting the urn. We also have the Paradox getting the midwalker.
There's a bit of a question there of if you want to say the pocket is down, there's no affliction, no page ult, but yeah, I agree with University of Toronto's decision here to back out. They're 40,000 ahead, no need to push your luck, just grab the urn, get another almost 10,000.
Yeah.
Take all the farm on your side of the map. So this is this game is going to go on for another probably 5 to 8 minutes if Purdue doesn't get caught out here. Just waiting for the next rejuve, but it's essentially over from this point. Every single member of University of Toronto is ahead of almost every single member of Purdue. This Infernus is at nearly 45,000. He's going to be able to buy whatever in the world he likes here. Like, there's not a lot of ways back into this if you're Purdue.
Yeah, and you know, even when you're looking at, you know, the capabilities on Purdue, they're able to, yes, they're able to cheese out 1 or 2 kills. You know, use the combo, use the knockdown, get a life swap in. But to do that consistently, as the rejuves command you to do, it's not really within their wheelhouse, at least not when they're this far down. So they're going to be playing just enough to sort of collect these waves and push them out, run back into the base, and sort of bide their time until UofT decides, okay, it's go time.
And assisting in this choke out is the fact that the more people you have in a lane collecting souls from the troopers, the worse the split is. And each member gets a percentage less of the souls than if you just had like 2 people there, for instance. So when you're turtled up in the base and forced to commit more members to a wave to try and not get poked out, such as we see them doing here, you're getting fewer souls anytime you're on this wave.
Yeah, and well, it's just a sort of precaution that they're going to take, right? They there's no point really in sitting around only in the small. What? I lost my train of thought there. That was a lot of damage.
Was the page full HP for that? Did he just do like 7/8 of her health bar in one chunk?
I don't think she was
had the barrier
quite
to stay
full, but she was like 80%, 75% maybe. Like, it was still a lot of damage though. I saw a big chunk of white there.
Yeah.
You can see that they're doing a max of 745 damage, and then you add on top of that any item effects as well.
Plus,
lot.
the Spectral Assistant sends out a second one with
Ah,
reduced
true.
damage. I don't remember how much, but like,
Yeah. That is quite a bit.
Picked up the Magic Carpet as well. Partially for
Yep.
style, partially because Sinclair is one of about 2 heroes that can actually use that item.
Yeah, the Sinclair really does excel if you're able to, travel a long amount of distance. You always have that Spectral Assistant. You're able to make some pretty fancy, snazzy plays with it, especially since I'm sure he's sort of running up against the limits of what you can really build optimally, at least on that character. The rejus have also fallen off. The timer did tick down, so it is a little bit closer of a battlefield than it had been before.
It's still almost 50,000 though.
Yes.
Like,
I said closer, not close, to be clear.
yeah. If this were 40 minutes into the game, then
Yep.
50,000 doesn't mean a whole lot because everyone's building
Yep.
max as they can. But at this point, I mean, yeah, you got the Mo combo, but there's nobody here to follow up for you. And now the entire University of Toronto are here to defend against this. Well, about half of them at least. That's going to be more than enough for now. The guy's going pretty low. They just can't
Yep,
win
and the
these
rest of
fights,
UofT.
Purdue.
Yep, and the rest of UNT are in tow as well. Lady Geist is, stuck in no man's land. I don't think the call's been made as to where she is. Does make the life swap, bringing her back up to full HP. The pocket's in 1 health inside of the suitcase. Gets taken down shortly after that. The Dynamo build continues to elude me, and we see UofT just march in triumphantly. And it seems like there's not really too much to keep them to stop them from taking space.
No, 2 picks here, and they've still got the Kelvin Dome. They've still got the Dynamo Black Hole. They're deciding to back out here. Mid boss is up. Okay, they're gonna go for mid boss, and then they're gonna push to end the game. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Doing the most ultra passive, safe play possible.
It's a competitive setting. Min-maxing your percentages is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah. It's what got them into this position, so I don't blame them for being extra safe and getting everything that you need. I'm just hoping that they don't play a little too safe and give them in a position to get back into this game. Do see Mo and Curl stealing 1 reju. That's all he's going to get, though. He's going to expend it immediately, trapped within that Kelvin Dome. And yeah, I think that spells out the end of the game.
Yep. This is really well-timed punch from Krill. I thought it was too early, but he got it right as it dropped. So good job on him. He got 1/3 of the advantage out from University of Toronto, but at the cost of 2 picks, means that University of Toronto can really just rush in there with the Dynamo now Refresher Black Hole and just in the game. Like, they don't have anything to fear here.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe an affliction,
Okay,
but
I
now
think
that's
that
out.
one was almost 100-0. I'd call it a 100-0 because the page is just no longer on my screen. And yep, the Black Hole to secure just the last 2 remaining members, making sure that everybody and absolutely everybody is dead off the map. Black Hole and patron style points. And there you go. UofT tie things up. It's 1-1 overall for the day. Not bad.
Great adaptations from them. They recognized where they went wrong in the last game in their gameplay. Played a lot more together, played for those rotations to be a lot faster, but then also Purdue's particular style from the last game really showed weakness in the draft there. Like, they had to let University of Toronto get so many strong heroes to be able to play their style that, I mean, the Kelvin and Furnace were just doing crazy work that game. The Shiv was a little bit quieter, but still did fantastic work. And Styler's Magician.
Yep.
I said I'd stop glazing it at some point. I was quiet for like 10 minutes about it, but man, I mean, we just saw him chunk down so many people that game. Top player damage. Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. And, I do think it really speaks to part of it that we did see so much from pretty much everything. All of the members of UofT, even the Dynamo, which we sort of did call out initially for being a little less well-known or less of an established pick, did come out and really go 9-0-13 and did a lot of damage while they were at it. The gun hybrid did seemingly work.
Yeah, this
was
not something that we were expecting, but 0 deaths. I mean, we spoke about the weakness of Dynamo really being that he's quite diveable, and even I guess Big Fat B just knows how to never be dived. It's by killing the other team.
Yeah. I mean, do we have any other takeaways here? Any other notes that we wanted to really point out from this team?
Other than like the Dynamo going 9-0 and 13, I think
Well,
these are mostly the stats that you were expecting. Like Misclicked did a fantastic job of getting farmed and then just being the damage. We saw several dives onto him as well with the Mo combo and things like that. And there was always a member of University of Toronto there to protect him, whether it was Johnny on the Paradox or Dreamlion on the Kelvin, just always being there with the Dome and the Rescue Beam. Every member of University of Toronto playing their part in that game. There really wasn't a weak point for Purdue to target with their pick comp. Everyone was just playing their game, and playing together was the essential part, never letting one member be caught out on their own.
Yeah, I mean, just very well said. Thank you for that analysis. And to give you all an update, we don't have a graphic prepared or anything, but this does give University of Toronto 9 points total in this leaderboard so far. And we don't have an update yet on how the other teams have performed tonight or this weekend, but this should roughly place them around the middle of the pack in their group. So good job to the UofT gang. GG's to everyone. Thank you all for playing, and thank you all for watching the stream as well. I mean, I've been your host, Baffles. Soren, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you all again soon, hopefully. Have a good night.